let's talk about visas. So I'm Michelle, I travel alone, and I'm trying to inspire just one of you to go out and do it by yourself when you've said, I can't do it, because I know you can do it. So we're going to talk about visas. So when you go to another country, you need to make sure and check what are the entry requirements for your citizenship for that country. So I will always Google entry requirements, see what I need. Some countries require e-visa only, meaning you have to have it before you can even go there. And when you go to check in for the flight, they will actually ask you for it. So that you need to make sure you get ahead. You go online, you make sure you go to the official website. So Google India e-visa official website, and it'll end in usually .go or .gov, and you need to make sure that you're there. There's a lot of third parties that'll do it for you. They charge a fee. There's no sense paying a fee when you can do it yourself. And also, I mean, I just wouldn't really want to trust that somebody else is doing it for me when I can do it myself. The next option is visa on arrival. So some countries will allow you to just show up, pay the fee, get the visa right there. Some are quick, some take a while, but that is an option. But always make sure that, because not all countries have that. Some have to have it ahead of time, like I said. The third one is ETA, Electronic Travel Authorization. So it's not quite as in-depth as a visa, but they do require that. So make sure that's done. It's usually done online, and you can have that all set up ahead. An interesting thing with that is some countries actually have those just to transit through. So say you're flying, you have a layover in one country, and that's not your final destination, not even leaving the airport, you still have to have an ETA to travel through that country. So make sure that you handle that ahead also. And there's also some countries where you have to be invited. So basically sponsored, there will be travel agencies that you'll have to go through in order to be allowed into that country. Not too many of them, but there are some. Then with your passport, make sure you always have 1 to 4 blank pages. Check the country's requirements on that. Usually it's 2, but there are some that require more. And then you also need to have 6 months left on it. So make sure from the date that you're going to be in the country when you leave, you have to have 6 months from that date. So just something to always check on. Just make sure you know ahead what's required to get into that country. Another thing I always check is what I can and cannot take into that country. So a lot of things now with drones, you can't take them in, or if you are taking them in, you need a permit. So anyone with drones, I think now is pretty much aware of that, but I just like to be sure that people are aware of that. The other one that I have talked to people and they did not know is that some countries you cannot take the Garmin InReach into. So it's a little device that I hike alone, I travel alone, so it's kind of a safety thing for me where I can message if I get into trouble, or I can get help. So for instance, India, Vietnam, 2 of them that do not allow them into the country. So just make sure it's not in your backpack, don't take it with you. And again, it's just something you don't want to lose. You don't want to get there and lose it. So make sure you check on that. The other thing I will check on is the culture, like what's the norm for that country. I feel like when you visit a country, it's really kind of important to follow their culture, not how you dress at home, but how they dress there. So I will make sure and check that. For instance, in Sri Lanka, a lot of the temples, you need your shoulders covered. They had scarves at some of them there. In Greece, when I went to Meteora, in the monasteries, you had to have something covering your knees. So no shorts that were above your knees, no skirts. They did sell wraps that you could wear there and buy them and wear into that. Other things, for instance, in Japan, it's not polite to eat and walk. So a lot of people like to buy a drink and drink their coffee, walking down the street. It is not okay there. Again, is it against the law? Probably no, but I still think it's correct to follow what that country does. So also in Japan, you cannot talk on your cell phone on a train, which I really enjoyed, but there are signs for that. Trash, they do not have a lot of trash bins anywhere. So you're supposed to carry a little bag with you. put your trash in it, take your trash out with you. So that's just something I think is right. I always check on that and I follow them to the best of my ability. If I don't know about them, I don't, but I definitely do that. So that's just something I think that is really important. I love the other cultures. That's what I find fascinating about travel. So I think I should do in their country what they do. So anyway, that's my tip on visas. That's my tip on how I look into cultures and what I do before I go to that country. So if you want more tips, like I said, I'm trying to inspire you to get out there and travel the world.